In 1870, the Great Northern Railway introduced its latest class of express locomotive. With 8-foot driving wheels and an excess of power, the class were generally known as Stirling Singles, named after their designer, Patrick Stirling. In total, 53 were built, and to many, the Stirling Single is the epitome of the late Victorian express locomotive. But this film is not about them. Arthur Wills John Wellington Trumpbull Blundell Hill, 6th Marquess of Downshire, was born in 1871. Young Arthur had acceded to the title in 1874 on the death of his father, predictably enough, the 5th Marquess. The young Marquess would spend most of his life living at the family seat, East Hampstead Park in Berkshire, although he also owned several estates in Ireland. The Marquess was considered somewhat eccentric, but down-to-earth and well-liked locally, where he assumed the simple name Arthur Hill. In the 1890s he bought a steamroller to assist in the upkeep of estate roads. Of course, he insisted on driving it himself, becoming most proficient. Arthur Hill also made large contributions to, and became chief of, the Wokingham Voluntary Fire Brigade. In 1893, Messrs. Faulkner Bedford and Company of London placed an order with Bagnalls of Stafford for a replica 18-inch gauge Stirling Single. The whole order, in total costing over 1,000 guineas, was on behalf of the Marquess of Downshire and included 2 items of rolling stock and 1.5 miles of track. The order created much interest at Bagnalls, and on completion a length of 18-inch gauge line was laid behind the works. With works manager Mr. Price at the controls, factory owner Mr. Bagnall and chief designer Mr. Bagley as guards, the Mayor and Corporation of Stafford were invited to inspect and ride on the train. Of course, the 2 items of rolling stock were pressed into service, that being a toast-rack coach with awning and a covered brake van. Soon the railway was laid out at East Hampstead Park, and it must have been quite exhilarating, romping along at up to 40 miles an hour on the Bagnall Single, which, in working order, weighed over 2.5 tons. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a map of the line as built, but it only existed for a few years. By 1897, the Bagnall, rolling stock, and presumably the track, had been sold to Mr. F. J. Popham, a keen yachtsman from Hamble, who briefly built a railway in his garden. By 1899 the complete railway had been sold again, this time to Mr. Charles Hoare, scion of the eponymous banking family. Charles Hoare had first established the training ship Mercury in the 1880s, taking boys of good character from poor families and training them for eventual service in the Royal Navy or Mercantile Marine. By the late 1890s it had become a shore-based establishment, centred on a house and slipway adjacent to the River Hamble. The railway was laid to connect various parts of the establishment, including the house, slipway and pier. The line was generally hand-worked by the cadets, as seen here, but on high days and holidays the Bagnall Single was pressed into service. This photograph, taken at Hamble, shows the 1 toast-rack coach had become 3, still with the original brake van behind. Following the death of Charles Hoare in 1908, training ship Mercury, including the railway, became the property of the Admiralty. Hand-working continued for many years, although the locomotive was out of use before the First World War. When built, there had been great interest in the Bagnall Single, and Bagnalls wasted no press opportunity. For instance, this photograph and caption appeared in the popular Strand magazine. Aware of the Single, in 1897, Professor Henry Spooner, principal of the Regent Street Polytechnic School of Engineering, thought that construction of a similar locomotive would be a suitable exercise for his students. Whilst it was intended for the students to construct the locomotive themselves, a comprehensive kit of parts was ordered from Bagnalls, including a boiler, castings, forgings, and a complete set of drawings. Notably, one of the students involved in the project was Henry Greenley, later to engineer the Romney Hythe and Dymchurch Railway. However, progress was slow, and in 1910 the project was sold unfinished to Mr. Ernest Notter. Notter was District Locomotive Superintendent for the Great Northern Railway at King's Cross, and also an award-winning model engineer. In time, Notter completed the locomotive, painting it as the original full-sized prototype, number 1. Maybe this is no surprise, because the original number 1 had been withdrawn in 1907 and for a while was stored in King's Cross Shed under Notter's supervision. Ernest Notter was rightfully proud of his achievement. Although he tried to sell the locomotive on several occasions, it was still in his possession in September 1927 when he died. In the late 1920s, the Single was sold to the Fairbourne Railway in Wales to be used as a spare locomotive. The Fairbourne's main locomotive was a Basset Atlantic named Count Louis, seen here on the Higham Railway in Kent. Count Louis had formerly been the property of Louis Borowski, the fabulously wealthy racing driver and railway enthusiast who was killed at Monza in 1924. However, there was an obvious problem because the Fairbourne Railway was 15-inch gauge and the Single 18. Regauging the Single would have been a long-winded and costly exercise, including, amongst other things, having to fit a smaller diameter boiler. A quicker option, although still expensive, was to lay a third rail, and thus the Fairbourne became dual gauge. The 15-inch gauge railway ran from Fairbourne village to Penryn Point to meet a ferry service across the river from Barmouth. Unfortunately, due to the parsimony of the railway company, the third rail did not, finishing little over halfway. When the Single was in use, ferry passengers had a long walk. Little wonder that the Single was regarded as a bit of a white elephant at Fairbourne and rather unloved. In 1935, a 15-inch gauge petrol locomotive took over standby duties, and the Single was put up for sale. At Jaywick in Essex, a Mr. Stedman was busy selling building plots and complete holiday homes on the Jaywick Sands estate. As local roads were poor, Mr. Stedman thought a small railway would be a practical form of transport, carrying passengers between the seafront at Jaywick and his new Tudor estate at Crossways, as well as being an attraction in itself. The Fairbourne Single was bought and overhauled, arriving in the summer of 1936, and for the first 3 years would be the line's only motive power. England's longest miniature railway, My Hat. In fact, the line was little more than 2/3 of a mile long, running from a wooden platform by the beach to the main depot at Crossways. The railway proved an instant success and passenger loads were good. The Single probably went better than it stopped, as these photographs posed in the tunnel mouth reveal. Shortly after opening, a combination of enthusiastic driving and indifferent braking saw the Single jump the buffer stops at Crossways, coming to a halt in the gravel car park. To prevent a reoccurrence, the entire braking system was overhauled, the most obvious feature being the 2 large air receivers mounted atop the coal space. By the late 1930s, the Single, which had been designed over 40 years before as aristocratic amusement rather than a workhorse for a busy passenger railway, was showing serious signs of wear. The Jaywick staff were busy through the winter of 1938 with repairs to the Single and the construction of a second locomotive. The new locomotive might well have looked like a garden shed on wheels. It drew its inspiration from the vertical boilered Sentinel, and whilst it might not have been very pretty, it was thoroughly practical. Thanks to the Austrian corporal, the railway closed on September 3, 1939, and everything was stored away for the duration. In 1946, the Single, which had been stripped in 1939 for overhaul and with a condemned boiler, was sold to a Mr. Bird in Cambridge. For obvious reasons, he never steamed the locomotive, but in the late 1960s it was finally rebuilt with a new boiler and test run on an 18-inch gauge watercress railway in Dorset. The Single hasn't run since the early 1980s, and for the last 40 years has been an exhibit of the Museum of Country Life in Exmouth, Devon. And what of Lord Downshire's original locomotive? After withdrawal in 1914, it spent over 35 years stored in the dining room at training ship Mercury. Around 1950 it was sold to an eccentric gentleman called Mr. Best in Southampton, who at first stored it in his front garden and then in a dilapidated shed behind his house. The Bagnall Single is currently for sale with Preston Services in Kent. I daren't ask the price. Thanks for watching.